hope you can't see the mustard stain that I got on the sweater from my Costco hot dog. So I sat down. No, I didn't sit down. Oh, geez. Okay, hold on. I honestly don't look in the background of my videos until I'm editing, and I'm like, Diana. Anyway, I was thinking in my random thoughts about what type of video to make next, and I realized I don't think I've ever filmed a video specifically talking about how to save money. So this is a video for someone who has no idea where to start, feels really overwhelmed, and by all means, this isn't the only way to do it. I am just sharing what worked for me in hopes that it will get the ball rolling for you. So I thought I would make a video on kind of the easiest way I can think of to save money or how to save money in the first place. So I used to feel like saving money felt impossible, but I have managed to do it. If you watch my financially independent series, you can see how I started, and I'm still working on it. It's a journey I don't think I'll ever be 100% complete at, but I would like to come pretty close to it. This is the problem I feel like I had as well, and I feel like a lot of people do, and saving money is hard. Or why does it feel so hard? And it's because I thought this way too, that I needed a huge amount of money to make a difference. Or I needed a perfect time to start, or I got into this thought pattern of saving money, then something would come up and I'd have to spend it. And then I felt like, well, what's the point? Let me just spend the rest of the money that I had saved up, not used, on whatever I wanted to make me feel better. In turn, I would end up feeling super guilty and just a lot of emotions and feeling like I couldn't. Now, there are things that make this a lot harder for some people than most. For me, it was my undiagnosed ADHD that led to like self-esteem issues and like, why couldn't I save like other people? I have a really hard time remembering things. If I set like a plan for the day in the morning, if I don't have something consistently reminding me of that, I will forget about halfway through, steer off the path, and then remember at the end of the night and be like, oh, what the hell? What did I do? I completely forgot that I was supposed to be doing this today. That was really my struggle, and I didn't realize that was something that I couldn't control. I did my best, but not being aware of having ADHD made it for a really good time for my self-esteem to just plummet and, put the blame all on me and being like, I'm stupid, this is my fault, yada, yada, yada. That's a whole other story. But basically saying is that sometimes the problem that you have isn't necessarily something that you can control because you're not aware that it's an issue in the first place. So that aside, once you figure that out, that might take some time. You can come back to this solution or do it as you're figuring stuff out while you're aware that you might not be able to save as much money as you could if you didn't have this outside problem. I use You Need a Budget. I talk about it in almost every single one of my videos, but it is the one thing that has really, 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 really helped me with my ADHD brain and organize everything and like pretty much do all the calculations for me. You just have to get into that little bit of a learning curve. It's been smooth sailing ever since. I give every single dollar a job, and every paycheck that I get, I make sure that my life necessities are covered. And if I can cut costs somewhere, sure. If not, those get filled first. And then anything extra, I go to the other categories in my budget. So my necessities, my everyday kind of things that I need, I take into account. Like my emergency fund, my savings are part of that. If I have a goal, I split it up over the months or weeks or days or whatever you would like. You take that amount and you divide it by the 7 days. Like if it's a week, how much you need to save daily, how much you need to put aside weekly, monthly, yearly to get to that point. And whenever you get paid is included into those expenses that you need to pay off. And you just get into this process of automatically knowing exactly how much from each paycheck goes into that category. I have my emergency fund filled already, but at the time when I was trying to work on that and paying off debt, I always put money into my emergency fund right after any rent or bills or anything that I knew would screw up my credit score if I didn't pay it off. And then once I did that, then I could allot the money I needed to groceries and whatnot. So this is where it gets customizable for you. You have to figure out what in your life can have wiggle room and what can't. And once you decide that the savings for whatever you're saving for, there is no wiggle room for that, you'll kind of stick to your plan of saving up for that a lot easier than if you're more like, oh, it's okay, I don't need to save this much money this month, I'll just add more to it next month. I'll double up the amount I put into that category, that savings category, in my next paycheck, yada yada. Once you start going down that path, it could be game over for you. It's that habit that matters more than the amount that you're saving. So even if you don't make very much, it's going to take you a really long time to get to that goal. You will get into that habit of saving money and you will get to the goal eventually. It's just that time is what's different for every person. Find the amount that you need to save, divide it over the length of time that you need to get to that goal. And then that amount, either you decide if it comes out of one whole paycheck, over 2 paychecks, if you want to put money aside every day. You just have to create that habit of putting it into that savings category. Of course, you want to be using something, a budget, Excel sheet, writing it down so you're not trying to keep track of this mentally. And then habit is doing it every single day, every week, whatever it is that you have set for yourself. You just have to be consistent. As my favorite saying goes, motivation comes and goes, but it's the dedication that gets you to your goals. It's a perfect example of me filming this video. I did not want to film this video, but my dedication to my goal of being financially independent and trying to make more money off of YouTube so that I can do less hygiene and then therefore save myself some body aches and pains and stress. So showing up and doing stuff even when I don't want to do it is the same thing as putting money away even when you don't want to do it. Eventually, you will get to your goal. You will get to your goal. And I used to have this thought too before I got monetized for my YouTube channel, and I didn't realize that this is actually that exact saying. I always said, you know, I will get monetized at some point. It's just the timing of when. When is that going to happen? And I've fallen off and on the wagon, but I keep showing up. My dedication is there. And what do you know? I got monetized. So eventually it took like 3 years of filming videos, but that's okay. We don't need to talk about that part. So if you say you don't make enough money, pennies, like something is a step forward, a step closer towards your goal than the day before. If you find that it's easy for you to dip into your savings for unnecessary things like, oh, I spent too much on groceries, I need to dip into the savings. This is where you need to put it in a separate bank account that's not easily accessible. My bank accounts, my savings account have no access to like my actual physical card or my spending. I can't spend out of it. You know, if I go to an ATM and I try to take money out of my savings account, it doesn't work. I'd have to go on the app, transfer the money, and then take out the money at the ATM. Putting in those extra steps gives me every chance at every step to rethink what I'm doing. Now, I totally understand that there are outside, There are outside, I'm just gonna call it stuff that can happen in people's lives that they have no control of. Sometimes the world is set against you to stop you from getting you to your goal, and it's hard. I have been there. And I feel for you. This isn't something to make you feel ashamed of, but it's also, I think, something that you shouldn't hold on to because it's just stopping you from reaching your maximum potential. My personal journey was I felt like I could never make enough money to cover the cost of my expenses. I felt like the money I was making was not for the lifestyle that I wanted. And so what did I do? I went back to school. It was a really long process, but I'm here today because of that decision and I don't regret it one bit whatsoever. Consistency is the key to everything, it feels like, really. Let me know if you have any questions about this video down below. I want to hear about your goals, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.